Overweight dogs really do die younger. We're not guessing about that. In a famous 14-year study, dogs that were kept lean lived almost 2 years longer than their own litter mates. Same breed, same food. The only difference was how much they were fed. Almost 2 years. For a dog, that's a huge piece of a life. But here's the part that catches good owners off guard. If your dog is one of the overweight ones, there's a real chance you have no idea, because to you, your dog still looks completely normal. So in the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly how to check your own dog. A 30-second test you can do right now with nothing but your hands, and what those extra pounds are actually doing on the inside. And the good news? Almost all of it can be undone. Quick note before we dig in. I'm not a veterinarian, and this video is for general education only. Everything here comes from veterinary research and trusted sources, but your dog is one of a kind, so your vet is always the final word before you change anything about their food or care. Let's start with that study because it's the backbone of everything else. Back in the late 1980s, Nestle Purina ran a 14-year experiment with 48 Labradors. They paired the dogs up from the same litters. Both groups ate the exact same food. The only difference, one group was fed about 25% less than the other for their whole lives. The leaner dogs lived a median of 1.8 years longer, 13 years versus 11.2. And it wasn't just more years. The lean dogs needed treatment for problems like arthritis about 2 years later than the heavier ones. They stayed younger longer. So why does that matter for your dog? Because this was never really about looks. It's about time. Good, comfortable, mobile time. A few extra pounds quietly trade some of that away. One honest caveat. Those were Labradors, so the exact number won't be identical for every breed. But the direction is rock solid, and it's held up for more than 20 years. Lean dogs live longer. So that part's settled. The harder question is the one almost nobody can answer honestly about their own dog. Is my dog actually overweight right now? And the reason that's so hard is kind of surprising. Right now, around 59% of dogs in the US are overweight or obese. That's more than half of all dogs. But when you ask owners about their own dog, the numbers don't match at all. In one survey, only about 17% of owners said their dog was overweight, while 84% rated their dog's body as just right. That gap isn't because owners don't care. It's the opposite. We see our dogs every single day, so a slow gain becomes invisible, and the whole world helps us look away. We call it fluffy, chunky, a little well-fed. We even think it's cute. Those soft words hide a real medical issue. So if you've never been totally sure where your dog stands, that's normal, and it's exactly why this check is worth learning. But before we do it, you need to know what you're checking for, because the damage from extra weight isn't really on the outside at all, and what it does on the inside is not what most people think. Here's the myth. Most of us picture fat as dead weight, a soft layer the dog just carries around like a heavy backpack. That's not what it is. According to the Purina Institute, fat tissue is actually an active organ. Fat cells pump out more than 100 different hormones and signaling chemicals. Some of those chemicals are inflammatory, which means extra fat keeps your dog's body in a low, constant simmer of inflammation. Inflammation is the body's alarm system, helpful in short bursts, harmful when it never switches off. That quiet, always-on inflammation is part of why overweight dogs are more likely to develop things like arthritis and diabetes. The fat isn't just sitting there, it's sending signals. I know that sounds heavy, so here's the part I love. It's reversible. When dogs lose weight, those inflammation markers in the blood actually drop. You're not just making your dog look trimmer, you're switching off a process that was quietly working against them. Which means the most useful thing you can do today costs nothing. Just find out where your dog actually stands. So let's finally do that check. Good news, you don't need a scale and you don't need to guess. Vets use something called a body condition score, and you can do a simple version at home in about 30 seconds. 3 quick checks. First, look down at your dog from above. You're looking for a waist, a clear narrowing behind the ribs like a gentle hourglass. No waist or a back that's straight or wider in the middle, that's a flag. Second, look from the side. The belly should tuck up behind the rib cage toward the back legs. If it hangs straight across or sags down, that's another flag. Third, and this is the most reliable one, use your hands. This is the trick vets at VCA teach, and it works on any coat. Run your fingers over your dog's ribs. Now compare it to your own hand. Feel the back of your hand lying flat. You can feel the bones easily under just a thin cover. That's an ideal weight. Now feel your palm, the fleshy base of your fingers, bones buried, hard to find. If your dog's ribs feel like that, they're carrying too much. And if the ribs feel sharp, like the knuckles of a closed fist, your dog may be a touch too thin. Here's the catch that fools almost everyone. A thick coat can hide a whole size of extra weight, so trust your hands, not your eyes. Always feel through the fur. 2 fast notes so you don't misjudge. Breed matters. A greyhound is meant to look leaner than a Labrador, so you're checking your dog against their own frame, not the dog next door. And if your dog got rounder after being spayed or neutered, you're not imagining it. That surgery can lower a dog's energy needs by around 10 to 20%, so the old food amount suddenly becomes too much. So, say you run the check and your dog is carrying a bit extra. Don't panic and please don't crash diet them. Here's the safe way to fix it. The rule that keeps it safe? Slow. Cornell's vet school says a safe rate is about 1 to 2% of your dog's body weight per week, no faster. For a 50-pound dog, that's roughly half a pound to a pound a week. Going faster than that usually means the calories were cut too hard, and that can cost your dog muscle, not just fat. 3 things do most of the work. Count the treats. They should stay under about 10% of your dog's daily calories, and they add up faster than anyone thinks. Measure the actual meals instead of eyeballing the bowl, and add gentle movement, like a couple of extra short walks. And this is the one step I'd never skip. Have your vet set the target weight and rule out any medical cause first. Some weight gain isn't about food at all. Your vet gives you the real number to aim for, and then this whole thing gets simple. So here's what I'd love you to do. Pause right now, run that hand test on your dog, and tell me in the comments, knuckles, back of the hand, or palm. I read every one, and I'm curious what we get. And if this helped you see your dog a little more clearly, subscribe. We'll have many other well-researched videos to come. Give your dog a scratch for me, and I'll see you in the next one.